This isn't an account of what I'm going through. I'm reading someone else's statement on their mental health situation. I would say stress and anxiety have always been with me as long as I could remember, but they didn't affect me much until I got to college. So depression did affect me in a big way. I had a lot of trouble falling asleep, eating, didn't want to get up in the mornings, and things as simple as just hanging out with friends didn't interest me. I preferred for people to leave me alone and not to bother me. Stress and anxiety affected me in a way that it was always tied back to my parents and my family. Even though they were home in New York and I was here in Philly, I had this overbearing pressure from them, my mom especially, that every time I was home, she'd always tell me to make sure I'm getting a 4.0 GPA. And in turn, every time when I got my grades back from classes and I don't get a high grade, I feel like I did something wrong. My dad would say things like that, but he knows that there is such a thing as human error. It has affected my relationship with my mom so much that I don't call her as much. I think people need to really understand that mental health affects everyone. And yeah, sure, you could see someone on the street based on what they wear or think, oh, this person has a mental illness, when in reality it affects those who you least expect. I think growing up when you're Asian, stuff like this isn't really talked about. Instead, it's just swept under the rug and ignored. Whereas for me, as someone who knows of others who have mental illnesses, that's not the proper way to go. There needs to be a foundation of understanding and open communication. As an Asian American, I think from the Asian community, I know for a fact that mental illness does affect us, but they always deny it because there's a sort of hush culture where if we don't talk about it or don't acknowledge it, then it would simply just go away. There are many cultural barriers, and I think in order for there to be actual change, people need to let go of cultural barriers and what others would think.